I'm Chrissy. Thank you for coming today. I just wanted to start by, I just want to know how many people have been to an artist talk, just so I kind of know. If you've been to an artist talk, you just go like this. Yeah, this is an artist talk, that's okay. So this is probably not like your normal artist talk, just in case you were expecting that kind of artist talk. So, but before we talk about what I'm going to talk about, there's a book over there, and it's a sign-in book, and it means a great deal to artists because it means that somebody showed up, and after the show we have this thing called post-show blues, and it means, you know, there's a climax to a show and then we go downhill. So the cool thing about that book is I get to read it and see, oh, so-and-so showed up, they said da-da-da-da-da, and it meant something, or it didn't mean anything, or they reacted a certain way, or they hated it. That's better than blank, blank, blank. So please sign the artist book after. It's a sign-in, comment, and that kind of thing. Okay, so first I wanted to introduce my galleryist, Lori Burnett. And if you can come into the picture.
This is, I was going to introduce Chrissy, but she's introduced me. So, but I'm thrilled to have met her. We sort of came to each other, I don't know, the stars lit in a certain way. So her exhibition is starting officially now with this talk, and will continue until the following Monday. The vernissage is Wednesday night. The work will, I would say, will speak for itself, but I think Chrissy's talk, speaking to the work, is going to be very insightful. What else can I say? I know what you're talking about, though, with those post blues, because yeah, it's always very exciting. It's been very exciting for me working with Chrissy to put the show together. I look forward to this whole week, and I will sit down and listen in with the rest of you. If you need anything, I've opened a window. If you find it gets too warm in here, somebody let me know. We'll open another one. Shall I? Yes?
Yep,
no?
sure.
Maybe?
Sure.
Okay. I got it all over. She's got it. So open a bit more.
Okay, so yeah, that's good. Okay, so I was going to talk a little bit about my background, and then my influences, and then the basics of this show, and then there's going to be something interesting. So for those of you who know me or don't, there's no short story. I don't really believe in cutting all the details because then it's just nothing. So I'm saying the long version. This is the 1 hour talk. There's a half an hour talk on Thursday night in French. You don't want to go to that. It's really just straightforward. So thank you for coming to the long version because, you know, I guess I had to do both. And with me, there's always something in the numbers. So today was supposed to be at 1 o'clock. And 1 means something. It means, yes, we're starting. 1, affirmative. 1 through the binary code. It's an open line, not a closed circuit like a 0. So every single piece here has something to do with numbers. But I'll get to that later. So my background is quite simple. I grew up in the greater area of Toronto, and I'm what they call first generation. So that means my parents came from Hong Kong in the 60s, and then there were 5 of us, and so they spoke to us in Chinese, and we answered in English, and then I learned French, and a whole lot of other stuff. So they were strict, and when I was 7, I got to draw and do piano and do ballet, all at once. But not before, somehow, because I got an older sister and an older brother who have to do it first and go to swimming after them and be in this level and that level, and there's so that's how I started. The reason why there's these 2 little paintings is because I did them when I was 7, and I did the purple flower first, and then I wanted to do another one, but the teacher said, no, Chrissy, everyone's just doing 1, so. And I'm like, I'm done, and you have to cut it, so I'm just going to twiddle my fingers. And so he let me do another one. And that's why the wood looks so bad. It's 3 pieces of wood because he didn't have enough wood, actually. And then I said I wanted to cut it. And that's why there's that cut going into the butterfly. And then he said, no, I got to cut it. And yeah, okay, I'll just paint it. So that's sort of the beginning, and that's why they're expensive, because everything's for sale. And just had to add that. When I was younger, they had these once upon a time stories, and I really liked stories. So I'm going to tell you the silver spoon and the golden fork story. So I need a volunteer. And if there's no volunteer, okay, cool. Okay, so this is what would happen. And it's not a Chinese story, so don't worry. What? Yeah, okay. So I don't know where I heard this story, because every time I say it, nobody knows where it's from. But in the olden age, you were really young, and you would get
That's not that exciting. Bad phone.
It's okay. So in I believe there used to be a golden fork and a silver spoon. And when you were very young, these princes and princes used to be given both. So just imagine this was gold and this was real silver. I couldn't find a brass looking one. And I was going to paint it, but I ran out of time. So they used to let these little princes and princes choose one or the other. So I'm asking you to choose one or the other.
Silver spoon.
Ooh, very interesting. So just imagine this was gold and this was silver. Who would choose? Oh, thank you very much. Yes,
Go.
yeah, great. Sorry. Who would have chose the golden fork? You're just going by shape and is that it? And who would choose a silver spoon?
There's too much.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so why did you choose the silver spoon?
Like I said, too many songs, too much technology, too many stories.
But they're all true.
And the shape.
The shape.
I like the shape.
Sir, why did you go for the golden fork? Just pretend it's gold. Good, okay. So this used to represent academia, and this used to represent the arts. So they would know to train this prince or princess with academia, and they would know to train this person with the arts, just by shape and... Yeah, there we go. So I had made 2 presentations, and we're going to go with the silver spoon presentation. So this is your first break. You get to turn on your phone. So we're just going to open that door and have 5 minutes. Before I get to the next part, it doesn't work if we don't know certain basic things. So I was just wondering if everyone knows the 3 basic forms. Can anyone say one of them? Circle. Circle, great. Oh my God, you said circle first.
Straight line?
Not straight line. Square, good. And then the last one, triangle. Oh, awesome. Because, a lot of people don't understand abstraction, and those are basic elements. And then forms. So does anyone know the 5 basic elements? Water, good. Wind, which is air. Air, good. Fire, yes. I got a hint. Metal, good. What are you missing? You guys think you're like a little bit Greek here. Earth, very good. Yes. Okay, so this show has all 5 elements, and you can look in detail which ones they are. So this is sort of the end of the show. That was the beginning. So we're going that way. But before that, I was going to talk about like a couple of more major influences. There was this man called Vasily Kandinsky, and he had something special. He had synesthesia, which is like a terrible word to say. It means that he had a crossing of the senses, but more recently they're saying a merging of the senses. And it means that he kind of had his hearing and sight crossed. He could hear color. So that's why he has all his works, composition number, da-da-da-da. It's because he literally could hear it. And so I always thought that was so cool. Like, wow, that means he can hear red, yellow, blue. I don't know what it sounds like. He's not even like Beethoven. He can hear, he can see it. Beethoven couldn't hear. He's a different story. So in 2005, I went to the Banff Center and I did a residency. And in their nice big archives library, they have artist books. And there you saw, I sort of learned about graphical scores. And I saw John Cage's graphical scores. So I'm like, whoa, you put Waisly Kandinsky and John Cage together and you get music, then you can dance to it and paint, and I don't know. So it took me like 10 years later. Well, no, I practiced in between. And that's why I believe there's a connection between, well, music and dance and art. So this would be one example. So this one was called Stairway. And I am talking about Stairway to Heaven from Led Zeppelin. Because I heard that song over and over, and I know nobody really, there's all kinds of thought on Stairway to Heaven, but I think it's a great song. And I'm not replaying it, I did replay it, but I made an image of it. So depending on which side of the earth you came from, does anybody see the lines going up? I just want to see, who sees the lines going down? Does anyone see the lines going up? Good. Okay, so, different people read differently. If you read this way, you could be going there. But you can go down this way. But in the song, it goes, so this is like the glass half full or half empty, I think. Because if you're optimistic, why wouldn't you go up? If you're careful, maybe you're descending. But whatever, it's both. It's always both. And this is an image where I say it's square. Well, actually, I ripped it 1/4 inch a little bit, but it was supposed to be square. And because I believe all images are round, like a circle, because I worked from all sides of the paper before putting it up. And that's why some of the images are on tables, so you can see it how I made it. Except I couldn't put the tables in the middle of the room. It takes a long time to figure out which way the image is going. So I chose this way, but let's just say you buy it. You can flip it around, and I would be totally okay. So yeah, that's Stairway to Heaven. Yeah, did anybody have any questions about that? There's a lot into that, but yes.
I have a question. The color that you chose, sorry, green. There's a lot of green. Is there a meaning behind the green?
Yes, the green is pretty cool because in Goethe's theory, does anyone know Johannes van Goethe? Okay, well, he did a lot of things, but this painting over here, sorry, Stefan, is called Goethe because he was also a major influence. I know, this is the long answer, sorry. He had color theory, and contrary to what people think, who knows the 3 color primaries?
Unfortunately.
Oh, but what are they?
Well, cyan, magenta, and the other one.
Oh, okay, that's 4. Okay, we can talk that one. Okay.
No, because I had to calibrate my thermometer.
Okay, who believes the colors, the basic colors are cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, like what he's saying? Who thinks a different color system?
I learned the red, yellow, blue.
Okay, red, yellow, blue. Does everyone coincide with that theory?
Also only 4 GB.
I'm getting there.
For pigments, not for light.
Yeah, that's pigment, and you're talking light. Actually, no, you're talking print colors.
Yes.
But whatever. Gert said it was yellow and blue, and he's not the only one who said it was yellow and blue. Okay, just imagine, okay, you're looking at the sky, and there's the sun, and then on the ground, there's like water, right? Some people believe that's like warm versus cool theory. Warmth, yellow, cool, blue. And that's pretty good, but Gert said, okay, yellow and blue make green, and you got green all around. So hey, that's like, if you're thinking of a landscape, you got the sun and the water and all that green, not bad. So where do you get those little red bits? So somehow he figured out, and I best explain it, surgeons don't wear this color anymore, but you know that green hospital color is, and then they're looking at blood, right? But they had to wear this green to balance out the eye because they're looking at red so much. If you look at a white wall, afterwards you'll see the complementary. And there's all this theory, Johannes Eaton and all these people. So what he's trying to say is, if you look at lime green or an intensity of green, you look at a white wall, the color that you see after is called the after image, is magenta. And that's how he knew that red or magenta or whatever you want to call it is not a primary, because your eye balances itself and can make it back. So therefore, yellow and blue, Gert. That's the painting there, or drawing. So that was another influence of mine. So,
But if you look at blue and look away, you're going to see the yellow. So how is it different?
oh, actually, the complementary of blue is not yellow. It's, yeah, yeah.
You have 3 photoreceptors,
if-
1 red, 1 green, 1 blue.
If you can't really make yellow, like, except for if you're talking about the light spectrum. But we're talking about paint and drawing, so let's just keep that part out.
4/10 spoon.
I have a different question.
Yeah.
If you remember, where did you begin? How did you begin? What were your reasons?
Oh yeah, so that's the green question. I'm going back to Stairway. Did I answer your question? Oh yeah, okay, so I started, well, I was mucking around with painter's tape. That's not green, that's painter's tape. So I was just kind of taping out, marking out, masking. And then I thought, well, what a nice color. Then I thought, okay, I'm listening to Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. All right, Stairway, Stairway. Oh, cool, 8. Anyone know about 8? Okay, so, you know, green is life and all kinds of things. I decide to keep it instead of shading around it, because my stairway is going to be infinity, like the figure 8, and we're going to go up, but it's going to be up from both sides because I'm going to turn it around. And then I have to add the complementary. So then that's where magenta came in, but you have to ground back with black and white in a drawing realty kind of sense. You know, and there's always a shade of gray, so I use graphite because black and white makes gray, but the real gray, I say, is graphite. That's the minimalist sense of it. Did anybody else have a question about this one? Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna grab another piece. I'll be right back. You know, things are really weird these days. Everybody wants to say something's a drawing or a painting or a collage. So I'm like, why do we got to do any of that? But I'll give them the box that they want because they're boxing me in, right? And I'm going to open it and it's going to be a drawing. But that leaf is sticking out, so it could make it kind of 3D. And I don't like white paper, actually. It just looks really good in a gallery, so that's a blue piece of paper. But I'm gonna make that look white because this blue is gonna be so strong that light blue will look white enough. But I don't know if you see that. So that was that piece. I'll let you look at those pieces other. Then I came to, oh, but I know a color you can't really make, and that's rust. And I tried painting rust that color so many times, burnt sienna with orange, with a bit of burnt umber, with a bit of yellow, and yeah, mixing dilutes the pigment. So the best way to make rust is just to have rust. The only way to do that is to rust metal. And that takes a long time. So this is metal number 1. That's my first try. And then metal number 2. So, okay, what happened with metal number 1? I had to use the elements on metal. What makes metal rust? Anybody?
Water.
Good, water. We used little elements. I used water and some other stuff, and then it got like crazy. And then I was like, we gotta try again. So here's metal number 2. Okay, I had more tries than 1, 2, but well, you just say these are the major tries. And so this was kind of cool because it was messy, but then I decided to clean it up. And so, and then I got to use all the elements. But it's still on wood, backing, which is a good support if you're thinking like a tree. So wood is behind, metal's in front. There's something always in behind, was what I was trying to, because it looks very flat. But if you think it from the side, it's still 3D in a way.
Why do you label that one as being messy? Because I just see movement and I think it's beautiful.
I didn't say messy was bad. You should see my apartment. We like the word messy is bad. But I'm sure the golden forks would go for that one and maybe the silver. No, yeah, you like it? Okay, well, I'm happy about it too. I'm happy about both inventions, you know, but I didn't invent anything, it's just rust. So yeah.
You said just water, no acid or anything?
Well, I have some trade secrets, like. I can't tell you everything.
It seems like, I mean, this one brings out many different colors, many different layers.
Yeah.
But you don't want to trade secrets.
No, I went in with fine tools and made it come out. And if you look close, the rust is like, and you have to stop the rust. So I used some chemicals, you know. It definitely.
Because water would just sit there by itself.
Yeah, but no, if you wait a year, it'll rust.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it wasn't overnight, trust me.
We book this show, you know.
But besides that, Led Zeppelin is using metal, right? So it wouldn't really, yeah, okay. Well, I don't know, heavy metal can get heavier. Yeah, it's relative. So I thought it fit the show because, you know, we work on a lot of little things while we're working. Did somebody else have a comment about the metal? So this is like choose your own story now. Someone gets to pick a piece and I'll talk about it. But if...
What's with the one named drugs?
Which one?
The drugs?
Oh, drugs. Oh, interesting. I don't know. This is a pretty personal question, but how many people are on drugs? There we go. Me too. So, okay, just imagine Led Zeppelin's using all kinds of stuff.
But he was using the good stuff.
Okay, but let's say the generic word is drugs. You can call it acid and all kinds of stuff. But, okay, let's stick with Goethe, right? Yellow and blue, but this is glue. Sorry, I said blue. I meant blue, but I use glue to make the yellow. And I'm sure he's using all kinds of stuff in that category. So, yeah. But of course, you still need that gray. So graphite, 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 squiggle, squiggle, squiggle. That's drugs.
Is there a story behind the shapes that you do?
Well, the graphical scores usually go this way, you know, so I'm still playing with the score going this way. And I think there's at least 4 parts all the time, so not my interpretation. Anyone have, you know, the size is important too, because you can't use a lot of drugs, so, you know, it's smaller. And then it's not framed because, you know, it's a wild card. I really didn't know what you'd think. Is that good? Does anyone else want to choose their own story? Painting, drawing, work on paper, piece? I'll put this back.
I'd like to ask about the piece that has the pink and the big squiggle.
Oh, okay, all right.
I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it.
So let's just pretend Stairway was here. This piece is called Black and Magenta, which is also a theory, but we skipped to that. Then we went to Fly. It's flying around. And this is Naturel, because there's natural. Okay, then you get over here, which is I understand your thought. I was like, well, after you saw all that, you're probably feeling pretty. This. Why use a word? So, you know, let's respect the code of green and magenta, and you drop it black and add gravity. And this is just pure composition. I'm gonna use both hands now, and one side is a square-ish. One side is a loop, which is the curve, which is your spoon. So this is pure abstraction, I would say, but using the basic elements and color theory.
So you painted that one, or you developed that one after you had done the others?
No,
or?
I did these first.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
you see it more as
it-
a conclusion of your story?
Not really. I mean, nobody's really just doing one thing and then the other. Paint needs time to dry, and thoughts, you know what I mean? Like, that's still rusting while I'm doing that. But this one was done last. Like, as in, oh, let's turn it this way. Okay.
Yeah, so Chrissy's studio, I'm going to say, is sort of this long room with many tables, and there's a lot going on everywhere. And I think that we talked about that one at Elizabeth.
Yeah.
You know, different things are going on at different times, and as she said, as one thing is setting or settling or drying, she might go off to something else. But there's, I'm sure stuff is swirling around in there all over the place.
You don't leave your thoughts at one time.
Yeah, well, this is where you have energy and you're still thinking. If you stop one, you just lost that energy thought process. You know how it takes time to get into the mood? It works for painting too, or drawing, or...
And you see them hung a specific way?
Oh yeah, that took a long time to figure out which way to put it.
Yeah, I can
And
imagine.
then, but that's okay. This is how you see it in the last stage, but when you take it off and carry it, it's all kinds of different ways.
Yeah.
Nobody knows which way it is until they put it up.
And in another exhibition, you might put it another way?
Oh, I don't try to use the same piece twice, so, you know, it's not the goal. So we'll go back over here. So I think, well, you know, I was going to leave a little bit time for any other questions, but I wanted to say I'm part of the group called Painter 8, and there's 8 of us because it's a bad thing to be a solo artist, even though I'm showing solo today. And you can look us up at painter8.ca. And that's sort of why this artist talk was supposed to explain why I cut a tree. This is paper, so I mean, we have to think about that. And that's all I was going to say for today. Thanks. Does anyone have a question? Yeah, sure.
You were saying that when you were 7, you were exposed to ballet, piano, painting all at once. Does that make...
I didn't really mean it like that.
Oh.
I got to do lessons.
Yes.
Like my older brothers and sisters were already doing it.
Yes. Oh yeah, you were exposed to it earlier, but you were taking these lessons.
Yeah.
Did the lessons influence you? Do you see ballet in what you do? Do you see music in what you do? Do you see...
Ballet was just like I think it's just formal training. Like
Okay.
I did Chinese dancing, African dancing, modern. Like I'm very inspired by contemporary dance. Like music, you start in piano, which is still a formality. I listen to all kinds of things. But I mean, everything's an influence. If you want to say everything, you know, I'll say Automatiste, I'll say Robert and Sonia Delaunay, I'll say Johnny Cash, I'll say, you know, like, you get it down to 3 people. You say Ansel Kiefer, Patterson Ewan, or, you know, it's kind of silly. Like, hey, then you have to say your mom and dad, and where you grew up, and that tree over there. And I mean, it's fine to say if you're willing to hear it all, but I remember. But I'd say the stories were more important, because you can find all that. It's hard for someone to say a story. Like, if you really think of all the stories you know, it's someone you know, that person had to say, you know, you read the story. It takes more time than many things, I think. Like a good story, not a bad one. Anybody else? Okay, well, we'll end the talk and you can look at the work. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.